In America, filling jobs have been a major challenge, and there are still thousands of positions across the country that are unfilled. Now, there's a lot of things contributing to this. We know that the drug addiction that has swept across the country is one major reason. Another reason is some people simply have given up and they're not looking anymore. So they are now looking for solutions to fill in the labor gap in the US. This article came out October 29th, 2018 in The Hill. With unemployment at record low, we must welcome immigrants to fill labor gaps before it's too late. Small businesses, the heart of the American economy, are thriving, according to the National Federation of Independent Business. 23% of Main Street businesses are actively looking to expand by hiring more workers. But here's where the rosy picture gets complicated. Finding quality talent remains a significant roadblock, not just to growth, but to meeting the full sales potential of many American businesses. Consider the most recent NFIB job report, where 38% of owners reported job openings they could not fill in the current period, a record high unchanged from last month. There is extraordinary competition for workers in this historically tight labor market. Juanita D. Duggan, president and CEO of NFIB, said small business owners are investing more in their employees to attract and keep qualified workers, thanks to recent tax cuts and regulatory reform. Owners are able and comfortable investing more in their employees and businesses, which further strengthens the economy. In fact, a record 37% of small business owners have increased overall compensation in hopes of hiring and retaining employees in the current market. But no matter how much businesses pay, it still won't be enough. With a 49-year low unemployment rate of 3.7%, there simply aren't enough qualified Americans to do all the available jobs. My question is, how hard are they looking? And are you really looking for workers, or you're being picky about who should fill those positions? Because I have to wonder that. I just have to wonder. Okay. And the picture darkens further when we consider our nation's low birth rate and aging population. Baby boomers are retiring, and the next generation of American citizens isn't big enough to make up the difference. Kind of sheds light on them lying about how big certain populations are, because we know they're lying about us. There is no way we have been sitting at 13% of the population for centuries. According to them, that's how long we've been sitting at 13% of the population. And we know damn well you're lying. Nobody's believing you. And that tells me all of the other groups that they claim are so big aren't so big after all, ladies and gentlemen. They're not that big. They're lying about their numbers, and they've been lying about population sizes in this country probably since the beginning. Okay, but there is a solution: immigration reform. I am calling for reform as a longstanding member of the Republican Party and a staunch conservative. I presented the state of Florida at every Republican National Convention between 1976 and 2008, twice as chair of the Florida GOP. And I sat on the Republican National Committee, Executive Committee for more than 3 years. But I also believe that in cutting legal immigration by 40%, the Trump administration is endangering the national economy. You know, you can't play both sides of the fence, and that's exactly what these folks are doing. On one hand, they want the immigrants to fill in the gap. On the other hand, they want them gone. Now, you can't have it both ways. And number two, many of these immigrants that come in this country, they don't even have educations. And many of the ones coming out of Mexico, they haven't even made it out of elementary school. You know, you have to consider that too. So you're not getting the cream of the crop from these immigrants. I think we all recognize that by now. You're not getting no cream of the crop immigrants at all. All right, so let's get back to this. Now, hear me out because I'm talking about a labor shortage that threatens to undermine the entire U.S. economy. As a senior partner at an international law firm, I've presented clients in fields from STEM to healthcare to construction. I don't need a survey to see that employers across the board are worried about massive worker shortages. Well, if you have a low birth rate and your baby boomers are elderly and retiring, then you got a major problem. You got a major problem. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, immigrants are not going to fill the gap. They're not, especially for a more highly skilled job. They're not going to fill the gap. Okay, if we want to remain competitive in the global economy, we must attract the talent to fill these gaps. And that means welcoming immigrants. Just look at STEM fields, an industry which predicts labor shortages of 1 million workers by 2020, according to New American Economy, just as concerning as healthcare, where vacant jobs outnumber unemployed workers by more than 10 to 1. Wow! In many occupations. 10 to 1 job openings to every unemployed. Wow. You know, ladies and gentlemen, this low birth rate thing is far worse than they're saying. It would have to be in order for that ratio to be that high. With unemployed people to open positions, the open positions outnumber unemployed people. It's far worse than what they're saying. They're just chalk it up that they're lying about a lot of things. Add to this the fact that between 2000 and 2030, America's elderly population is expected to increase from 35 million to 71.5 million. This is not all of us, though. You know, really, the white population is the oldest in the country, and they have far fewer young people in their population. And it gets worse with the drug addiction because you got a large elderly population that's dying out, along with a young population that's dying from suicides and drug addiction and alcoholism simultaneously. So I anticipate everything is going to get far worse in this country as far as um, open positions and not enough people to fill those jobs. You can imagine how much pressure this will put on the US healthcare system. Labor intensive jobs in agriculture, construction, and food services are in the same situation. These industries, which are already heavily reliant on foreign born workers, are actively looking to hire more. For example, my home state of Florida is extremely dependent on a strong tourism industry. It contributes $57 billion and over 1 million jobs to our state's economy. And yet we rank third nationally among states with the greatest need for more hospitality workers. In 2015 alone, there were 86,825 postings for available tourism and hospitality jobs. What I'm saying is that we, like the rest of the United States, need immigrants if we want our domestic industries to continue to grow. Of course, we must protect our borders, vet newcomers, and hold lawbreakers accountable. But the fear mongering and misinformation about immigrants rarely matches reality. The vast majority of us, I am a Cuban immigrant who came here at 11, are here to make a contribution. Above all else, we value family, sacrifice, and hard work. We want to be productive to help our communities thrive. Well, you want the same thing everybody else want. That's one thing I really hate. They always talk as if no one has those values but them. Okay? A lot of communities, including the Black community, hold those same values. That's not something unique to just Cubans. And I get tired of them talking like that, as if nobody else got values except for them. Get the hell out of here. But if America shuts its doors to foreign labor, both high and low skill, we risk becoming like Japan or other European countries where aging workforces and economies are already faltering or falling flat. That's because they're not having children. It's all about the birth rate. Japan's birth rate is below a sustainable level, and so is all of Europe. It's unavoidable. A vibrant, young, and diverse workforce is required to increase productivity and fuel economic growth nationwide. I urge Democrats and Republicans to put partisanship aside and implement comprehensive immigration reform before it's too late. It's the only path that leads us to growth and economic prosperity for all. Ladies and gentlemen, they want the immigrants because they want the people that look closest to the way they look in these positions. And they're not finding it, and they're not going to find it. The bottom line is the kind of immigrants they're looking for don't want to come to America. They don't. It's just like Trump sitting there talking about, why can't we get people from Norway? Why would they leave Norway and come to America? First of all, they get free health care there. Okay. And there's no limits on unemployment. If they are unemployed, they can get money from their government and be unemployed as long as they want. Now, why would they walk away from that and come here to America that don't have free health care in many circumstances? And you certainly don't want people on unemployment long. The problem with America is, see, they done talk up so much shit about this country, and it's not what it's cracked up to be. Let's face it. America talks a good game, but falls short on delivering. And it's always been that way. And now that people see all of this hate crime and the way your cops treat the citizens and stuff, who the hell would want to come here? Except for illegal people. I mean, you're not drawing top quality immigrants. You are the kind of immigrants you are attracting are fence hoppers. Those are the kind you are attracting. You're really not attracting any other type of immigrant. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the birth rate is playing a huge factor in the fact that America can't fill all of its jobs. That's pretty deep to hear. For every unemployed person, there are 10 unfilled positions in this country. And it's going to get worse. Every year there's a large number of baby boomers retiring. A large number. And as for the young people, even the ones in college, they are not making up for what the labor force is losing out here on a yearly basis. Not to mention, remember, you got a 25 to 54-year-old group of people that are so strung out on opioids and fentanyl, they can't work. They can't even pass a pre-employment drug test. It's so bad, they're trying to look for ways to do away with drug testing because they can't hire their own people due to all of the drug addiction that's going on out here. And that's getting worse. And you can tell it's getting worse because now you got the Attorney General sitting up here talking about everybody need to carry Narcan. You know why? Because they have let this drug addiction spiral so far out of control, they now need everybody's damn help to revive these junkies out on the street. Ladies and gentlemen, life is no longer sustainable in America, and they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it. If you are struggling to have babies, then right there, it should tell you you have no future without babies. You have none. You have no next generation without babies. Plain and simple. No babies, no future. And America is in free fall, y'all. There's no turning this thing around. And no matter how many ranting and phone calls on cops you make out here, it is not changing what is really happening out here. And these people are losing ground. But the problem with them is They've given up, y'all. They may tell you they haven't, but their actions are showing they have really given up. You wouldn't be doing all this stuff that you're doing out here in public if you really was still on top and had the power that you claim you have, which is definitely slipping away. We are seeing other parts of the country rising, and we see the Western nations all falling simultaneously together, ladies and gentlemen. And they are not going to turn this around. They can't. They can't. Please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Now, they're saying that they need to do this before it's too late, and I'm telling you, it's already too late. They're not going to admit their failure to the entire world, but we know they're failing. And they know, deep down inside, they know too. This is why they don't want us talking about it, because they know it's true. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I will see you on the next video. Peace, family.